Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Harakah Kadesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone that were well, and Shalom to the brothers doing the work of centering truth. Yeah. Have this, you know, some funny shit going down. Well, it's really just, because most of the global focus now ain't even really been on Ukraine. Here in the UK, there's some internal political shit going on with what the fuck this guy called, with the hell is his name, with Boris Johnson. You basically just got some distraction nonsense being run, and it's kind of the monkeypox thing as well is there. It's not getting as hyped, but yeah, it's being spoken about. And what else do you have as well? Well, it's people really have been thinking about the Middle East. Like the most recent thing, which I got up as well, was this journalist getting fucking langed off, man. Which is actually talking to a guy at work about it, bro. It's actually just wild that she had the press vest on, she had the press helmet, and they fucking just obliterated her, took her out off the planet Earth, man. And then just were like, oh yeah, it might have been, some Palestinian might have shot her. I just turned around and shotgunned her in the face. Give me a break, man. But that's why it's like, yeah, it's kind of wild. But that's the thing is like, she got sniped, and it was like they kind of had to be like, BBC and whatnot were trying to not just, well, that's what they're saying. I'm like, bro, you watch, and the thing is you can see the shit on Twitter, the videos on Twitter. I watch that shit. I think it's still on Twitter. I fucking watched it like yesterday. I showed it to the guy at work. I was like, bro, it's fucking nuts. She got langed off. She got sniped. She got obliterated. Yeah, she got taken out. And that's just become such a normal for the Middle East. People don't even anything that goes down in what's it called in and around the West Bank, Palestine, the state of Israel ain't really that big of a deal. The most recent big fuss was when they're having huge ass riots where they're fucking sending for each other heavy. But that's something that through prophecy it's gonna heat up, and that's gonna be the big draw, because now it's like everyone's got an eye on Ukraine. They're kind of looking at Taiwan, but the Middle East, that's where prophecies are spoken about. So it says on the Jerusalem Post, the IDF drills for a devastating war on home soil and away, and the name of their unit as well, Chariots of Fire. Oh well, no, I think it was the drill. The drill was called Chariots of Fire, which funny they should name it that, but I don't think they're aware of quite how relevant that's gonna be. So it says it were Jesus. So it says Chariots of Fire brought the Israeli military to a new standard as troops practiced responding to emergency events. It was a drill on a level that IDF had never carried out before. Thousands of troops and hundreds of aircraft and Navy vessels all trained together in going to war against the state of Israel's enemies on all fronts and in all dimensions, including a strike on Iran. And that's the main contention. Because they haven't even, it's like the Iranian nuclear program. That shit is always just in the wings, just in the back, just kind of there, and no one really talks about it, no one really mentions it. But that's the big point between, the state of Israel and thingy, man. Between the state of Israel and Iran, that's the one of the big things. They don't want these guys getting nuked. The US don't want it, man. Obeezy did the deal, but then Trump was like, it was done in that. Um, so it says chariots of fire brought the Israeli military to a new standard as troops practiced responding to emergency events in multiple theaters simultaneously while under heavy rocket fire from all borders, especially from the north. The Israeli army expect the home front to be bombarded with 1,500 rockets a day until the last day of the war. The attacks would wreck the country with dozens of buildings and sites destroyed and hundreds killed and wounded. Yeah, the missiles, man, the missiles, them rockets. It's actually funny because, like, men talk about, like, yeah, just rockets are just flying in. But it's like, yeah, them men are getting them back for that shit still. They, you know, they ain't being peaceable for shit. So it says IDF assessment state. One sec. IDF assessments state that while it is unlikely that Hezbollah will attack Israel in the near future, the northern border remains the most explosive, and both sides have warned that the next conflict between the two would be devastating. Thousands of Lebanese citizens, civilians, and Hezbollah operatives would also be killed or wounded in the war, and cities in South Lebanon as well. Man is saying like thousands of civilians would die. It's actually wild because that's just how different it is, man. Because like, bruh, it's like civvies dying is not even a thing. That's what everyone, everyone's in tears in Ukraine. It's just, oh, these blonde-haired, blue-eyed men, women, and children dying. Yeah, like, but that's been them Arabs. They don't give a fuck about them men dying. It's fun. It's funny still, but that's why it's like, yeah, when you get all the different countries, the different strongholds of Esau coming into the Middle East, getting in the mix. That's when you're gonna have that fucking meat grinder. That's when it's gonna be on a meat grinder tier because that's what these men are on. These men are on. Man said just rockets are just being langed off. Even if they ain't hitting nothing, the rocket ain't even going nowhere. They're just slinging rockets all day long, and they've done that for fucking years, bro. But yeah, that shit's them man. Like, if you're going into the history of what the fuck went down in the land, it's actually wild. But okay. Would heavily bombard, as well as the capital Beirut, were heavily bombarded by the Israeli military. And the already heavily bombed Gaza Strip would also be heavily hit. Many of Hezbollah's capabilities and much of its infrastructure are intertwined with the civilian infrastructure of Lebanon. And though Israel refrained from striking Lebanese infrastructure during the Second Lebanon War, Israeli officials have warned repeatedly that the next war will cause unbelievable destruction to the country, as anything used by the terrorist group is a legitimate target. Man is prepping everyone to fucking get, some shit's gonna go down. And it's the time, it's that spirit. And that's the thing this is just one of myriad fucking different conflicts, that's being spoken about. Because really, China making a move on Taiwan, that has been present in the mind for like a year plus. And they're looking to do a Hong Kong where they'll just kind of slowly choke them over time. But Taiwan's an island, so for them to make, for them to close it in, they're gonna need to fully invade. But we'll see, we'll see. Because these things is peak. Yeah, man. Jeremiah 50 and 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that ye have taken against Babylon, and his purpose that ye have purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make the habitation desolate with them. Yeah, the least of the flock, man. You're gonna have those, guys, Amalek basically in the land. They're gonna be the ones to draw out that global conflict, man. Because you have, the startings of the rumblings between NATO and Russia. with what was it, Finland and Sweden, I believe, joining, well, applying to join NATO. That's increased, the intensity. So then what? And the thing that's being focused on now is what is fuel, energy. That's the word, energy. The energy, basically requirements. Because what? Essentially, Europe's having to cut themselves up from Russia. Russia's still dealing with certain states, but it's going to affect them. When you talk energy, then the Middle East comes in again. Because as far as like, even if the US said they're going to be sending gas, they're on a fucking whole different continent away. They are beyond. So we'll see how it shakes down through the spirit. Luke 12:50. Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth, I tell you, nay, but rather division. Yeah, that's what Yahushua is basically coming for, that division, man. Yahushua is basically going to set up. So what? All these guys are going to turn on each other. These guys are going to be in conflict. These guys are going to be contentious. And then what? In the midst, Yahushua is going to make his return. And they'll come together, but hey, to come against Yahushua, but they're going to get swatted. But boy, yeah. Those, nice speak. But yeah, I'll leave you there. Shalom. Shalom.